Coach, you mentioned Andrew McCain, a kid that is making that transition to the right tackle, has put on the weight, bulked up, and done all that. What are the obstacles for him, though, to learning that position and also learning to play with that added 80 pounds that he's put on?
Yeah, you know, that's the biggest thing is learning to play with the weight that he's gained. Playing tight end before is going to help him understand, you know, coming off the ball and learn the offense. But it's also having to carry 30, 40, 50 more pounds and learning, you know, the techniques. There's the small things of playing offensive line are totally different than playing tight end. But Andrew's worked at it hard. It's just a mindset for him. And again, there's going to be a change around between Oscar and him and Daniels and probably Lee Zimba for the next 3 or 4 weeks, trying to get all of them working with the first team. But we're just looking for somebody to step up with a little bit more maturity, you know, when it comes to feeling like they know what to do, having the confidence of playing that right tackle. Again, Brandon's left-handed, and we're going to see a lot of people coming from that right offensive right side. So that's pretty important. We come up with, you know, some things to protect Brandon, you know, when, you know, from his backside.
You got a little more size on the D-line this year than maybe past couple. Does that mean you like straight a little bit more up there, not as many stunts and twists and such?
No, I think it's probably going to mean it because we might be bigger, but I think we're quicker. And, you know, when you're quicker, I think you can do a few more things. I like playing base defense. I like lining up, but, you know, straight up and whipping somebody on the other side, and because it's not as much mental, it's just physical, getting after it. But, you know, this defense that we run gives you the ability to do both. I think if you, with the Cinderic Marks out at right defensive end, I mean, he gives you a guy that can rush and also play the run, but he can move. He's real good lateral movement, and he and Antonio Coleman will be number 1 and 2 at that side, alternating, and then Cinderic Marks will also play some inside. But it's going to be a good, quick defensive line. I think this is it's going to be fun to watch these guys. If we can just stay healthy enough to have a 2-man rotation once we get into the season, all through the season, I think that could be one of the strengths of this football team.
How do you maximize the tight ends when you got, you know, what some people say 3 probably top 10 in the conference?
Yeah, you know, every day I go out there and watch Coach Insminger work with these guys, and it's a pretty good luxury. You know, when you know you've got 3 guys that have played a lot, and, you know, with Cole Bennett getting hurt last year, put a lot of pressure on both the young kids, and they really came through well for us. And all 3 have tremendous attitudes. You know, with Carl Stewart out, we're obviously going to put Tommy Trott probably in the backfield some, and which is what we'd do anyway, because Carl's going to play tailback some also when he comes back. So the luxury of putting 3 tight ends in the game and putting one of them back in the backfield is going to help, and also being able to put 3 tight ends in the game and being able to bunch them up and use them as wide receivers because they can all run. That's also going to be very beneficial to Al and what he wants to do with the offense. A little bit of change up with 3 tight ends where you can do a lot of different formations when you feel good about 3 guys that are big, they can block, they can run, you know, they can get in open space and catch passes. It's going to be fun to watch those guys. And again, that is definitely one of the strengths of this football team.
Coach, I think you mentioned freshmen offensively in the kicking game. Any talk about freshmen that got a chance of getting the action on defense?
Yeah, I think Michael McNeil's got a real good shot. He's got a lot to learn. Man, when you play this defense and play center field, you better know what you're doing. And his head's spinning. He's got 3 weeks to go, and they're bringing him along slow. He has no problem with coming up and hitting somebody. That's one thing that you worry about, but he'll do that. He's got good range. He made a good play today in the end zone of knocking the play down. He just doesn't know his presence yet of covering the field and knowing where the goal line is. If we're playing in the red zone, little things of playing lateral when you need to and playing downhill when you need to. He'll be much better this time next year, but we're going to play him. He's going to be a guy that's going to play a lot of special teams and be thrown into the mix. Ryan Williams is coming along. He's, again, didn't get here till late and not in as good a condition as some of the other guys, but I think that you know, his presence here is going to be felt fairly quickly. Schlusher, Ryan, I pronounce that right? Is that right? I mean Brent Slusher. I just can't get that name right. But You know, we moved him from tight end, and he saw the writing on the wall of those three guys in front of him, and he wanted to play. And I think he's found himself a home. He really looks good at defensive end. He plays defensive end some. He plays Sam linebacker some. He can run. He was an excellent basketball player in high school, and he's been fun to watch over there. He doesn't say anything. I mean, he's real quiet, and you have to get him to talk. But he does have defensive mentality, and that's what you always worry about. But he's going to be a good football player, and will play a lot this year, even though he was with us in the spring.
In your years of coaching, how many players have you seen, kind of like Rod Smith, that come on and walk on, and now in junior year will probably be starting?
Oh, that happens quite often. You know, I'd have to think a while, but you're going to have some players come and walk on that's going to make your team, that's going to develop. A lot of these guys that come at 18 years old or 17 years old have a lot of room for improvement in terms of physical maturity. And from the first day he was out there, he was catching the ball well, but you know, he just wasn't physically ready to play in this league. But he's working out on weights. He's come a long way. But every once in a while you'll find one like that. We've had a lot of guys play walk-ons, you know, at center, offensive line. Danny Perry will play some this year, walk-on for us. Kickers, you know, there's been numerous kickers that have come and been good players. But playing receiver is a little bit different. He's really worked hard and earned the right to, you know, to be the starter and be one of our leaders.
Anything else?
Talk about how Mario Fannon's developed.
Who?
Mario Fannon, what are you expecting from him this year?
Well, Mario's Mario. He's going to give you a day's work every day. He's always beat up, you know, in practice because he'll run through people. And our defense gets kind of worried about him sometimes when you're going three-quarter speed and the way he runs. You don't know whether he's going to run over you or run around you. And you know, he's just, you know, he's one of those special players that he can return punts, he can return kicks, he can be your tailback, he could be a fullback, he could be a linebacker. I mean, he's got that type of mentality, and he'll at one point or another be a starter for us. You know, we've got 4 or 5 running backs, and they'll all probably get a start during the year some point or other. But he's been fun to watch over the last couple of years. He had a good year last year, and you know, he got his year back. You know, hardship, getting hurt about the 3rd game, and so he's got 4 years remaining, and it's going to be fun to watch him over the next few years.
Do you expect Brad to start the first game?
Who?
Brad Lester.
Yeah, I hope. You know, he's a guy with experience,